My business was cranking. So as a man, I was under the illusion that if you're providing and producing, I was literally moving into a dream house, like by any standards. Mr. T lived fucking 3 doors down. So I want you to understand, this wasn't some nice little house. It was a gated community. The fucking VP of Hawkinson was my cross the street. Everyone in there had resources, and I'm moving into this place. And her response was, I will help you move in, but I'm not staying. Most women have been planning a year or two before they leave, especially because mine was a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife, right? So her finances were dependent upon me. And the thing is she's like, I wanted this life with you. I wanted to be with you. I wanted you. You were the guy that swept me off my feet. I wanted you, but I can only ask for so long. I can only ask for what I need for so long. So what happened was when she left, it was like, oh my, and dude, I was in a mastermind when she gave me the news. And earlier that morning, I was telling my friend, I'm like, bro, things are going really fucking good. That's how blind I was to this. I didn't even see it. Most guys that are listening to this, Frank, dude, you've been around, man. You're working with men, so you are saturated and drenched in reality of what's really going on in men's sex lives. So some of this stuff might be might be new, but you and I are pretty conversant in this language. Most men watching this are thinking, I cannot believe that there's fucking hope. This guy's talking about actual hope. Yeah, my wife 8 years ago was so unattracted to me, she left. She was like, I don't even care about this dream home. Fuck off. So it was that energy that I realized, shit, here I am thinking I'm the catch. When in reality, this woman was like, it sounds like this is going to break your little heart. And it did. But dude, you're not the things that you portray, or you're not the thing, or whatever it is you think you're doing. I'm not. So when guys all understand being sexually rejected is horrible. That same feeling resides in your wife if she feels emotionally neglected. It's the exact same feeling. So how about I go feed my best friend what she needs to have the best plant ever? And if I realize she ends up growing, she's just a little plant, and I'm still going to love her and take care of her and do the thing. But brother, you can't get mad at her if you're not willing to do this thing. And so that for me is when I had the big aha. Fuck, I've been living for everybody else. I've been masking all these deep insecurities and this pain by going, look, I've fucked hundreds of hot women. Most of them are in magazines. Oh, wow. And then I'm like, I can't even keep this girl? What? So my pride and my ego were smashed. But in the middle of that pride and ego being smashed, this opening, this phoenix, like you speak of, this bird, that inner real truth was like, Keith, what are you doing getting fat? What are you doing not paying attention to your business? What are you doing not being fun with your wife and no longer taking her on dates and dancing? That's how she fell in love with you, is because how much fun you have. So that is what I was feeling all in that moment. I felt tremendous amount of shame. So much shame. Like I fucked up a second marriage. How dumb am I? All that.
And what was you shared you gotten unfit, you were providing, you believed the lie that if I provide, everything's going to be taken care of. Like I'm holding my responsibility. There's some truth to that. Men need to be provider. But for you, what was, I guess, the biggest lie, the biggest truth you had to face in the moment? And what did that first, maybe initial step look like for you?
Okay. For me, I was like, wow, I'm so unattractive that this lady, I mean, her words to me was, my life would be better without you in it. Yeah. Not the Hallmark card I wanted, but guess what? That was because a week before I forgot Mother's Day. Like how blind. And here I was being praised by all my friends. I was having business success. I was winning. I was traveling. I was doing the thing. And then she's at home going. So I realized this is what really hit me. If the person who knows me the best is telling me I'm these things and I'm not willing to admit it, and she's willing to say I'm no longer going to be trapped in this marriage by a man who will not listen to me, who will not understand me, who will not take any time to focus and put any energy into me because he wants to, not to get anything. That's the difference. Most guys are doing all this shit. They come and they will watch a podcast like this and go, Keith, what do I got to do to get this? And Keith, what do I got to do to get her to do it? And guys, even when they come in my program, they're still like, I'm doing this thing, but she didn't. And it's like, you're still focused on her. The biggest truth was she was telling me, Keith, you're not what you say you are, and you're living a lie. Oh, I had to finally admit that. And the first step I took, I go, well, what do I know for a fact I'm 100% in control of? My body. I went from 185 pounds, six pack. That's when she met me. Six pack, fucking stud. We call him the catch of the county now. Our goal is to become the catch of the county. That is like, be such a damn good dude in every area because it's your standard that if for some reason your wife was crazy enough to leave you, that there would be 100 other ladies knocking on your door trying to be, I want to be the next Mrs. Keith. I want to be the next Mrs. Frank. When you believe you're the catch of the county, what that does is that makes you realize you have that there is the potential options. I tell this guys to single men, they almost become asexual with their wife because they go, oh, I can't even look at another woman. No, if there's a hot girl, my wife is like, that lady's hot. I'm like, she's super attractive. Well done. I don't want to fuck the Mona Lisa to appreciate the value in its art. I can even admit, dude, yeah, I would like to fuck her. I'm not afraid to admit, doesn't mean I'm going to. I'd like to take $1 million out of your bank account and put it in mine. Doesn't mean I'm going to. But that would be a really easy way to make $1 million. So what I'm saying is guys become almost asexual and their wife is like, what has happened to this guy? And so the truth of the matter is options versus the potential options. Once you're single, when you're single, every woman's trying to fight to be with you. Kind of like The Bachelor. They want that rose. But once you give him the rose, the guy, he almost thinks it's like he's getting through the finish line rather than realize he's starting in the starting blocks. Starting blocks. It's the starting blocks. You're not going through the finish line. You're the starting blocks. So he forgets that, bro, if you showed up with first date energy every day for your wife, you would get first date sex, my guy.
So true. So true. I got another friend.
Science.
Yeah. We have another friend, multiple time guest on the show, Tony, Dealer Renzer, once run Extraordinary Marriage. He says the biggest mistake that most men make in a relationship or marriage is thinking that the I do is the finish line and not the starting point. And, it happens. He let himself go. We spoke to it so many times here today. You're not the man that you were in the beginning. You presented yourself. You were strong, fit. I love that you talked about, because so few, I think, men in your space and also in mine will talk about the importance of physical strength or physical transformation. Just like you do, we lead men through an identity transformation. Well, it's almost impossible to see yourself as the same person if you're walking around in a different body. You want to change your identity, start with literally the physical body that you are presenting yourself to the world and yourself as man.